Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it may be at the time that you are listening to this podcast. I am your host, Miss U'nique, and welcome in. This is Beyond Unique Shattered Dreams, where every shattered dream becomes a sometimes harsh reality. Yes, it does. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Today's story time and episode is going to be another childhood memory. Yes. And this was very serious. This involves my brother. And if anyone has been keeping up with the episodes, he has made a couple of appearances in some previous episodes for sure. And so I would like to preference this, that for those that do not know, me and my brother did not have the greatest relationship growing up. We are 9 years apart. I am the younger one. And he was not happy that I was born. He was not happy when I got here. He had 9 years by himself to get all the toys he wanted, to get all the things that he wanted, to get all the attention and all the things. And then here comes this baby, right? Raining on his parade, okay? So here I came and he did not like it. And there are examples of this, many examples of this as we grow. And especially as I grow, that he shows me that he can't stand me. Okay? This is significant. This is significant in story time today. Because in this story time, we are going to discuss my brother. And my brother had a girlfriend, which turned into his child's mother, one of several. Yes, one of several. And the reason why I choose to highlight this story time is because I was caught in the middle of some mess, of some very toxic mess as a child. So I was about 11. That's the age I remember. I was about 11 years old. Yeah, about 11 years old. So at this point, if he's 9 years older, so he's somewhere about 19 or 20 or so, maybe. Could have been possibly a little older. I could have been possibly a little older, but I'm remembering 11. So we're going to go with 11. Okay. Well, my brother and his girlfriend had a very extremely toxic relationship. It just was extremely toxic. Now, the girlfriend turned mother of 2 of his children. She had a lot of issues herself. Okay? She was struggling with a lot emotionally, definitely mentally, and across the board. I actually believe that she was diagnosed with bipolar. And I don't know if any of you all know anyone that may be diagnosed with bipolar in any type of way. But just to give you all a understanding that may not understand exactly about bipolar, the easy way to describe bipolar is there is a really high side of emotion, and then an extremely low side of emotion. So they call this manic is the high side, and then you have kind of depression, sadness. That's the low side. And individuals that are bipolar, they are on the extreme. They're on the extreme. So when they are really happy, they are super happy, extremely excited, bouncing off the walls. Can't even hardly get a sentence out because they're so excited. They do a lot of impulsive things when they're on that high and when they're in that manic state. They do a lot of impulsive things, like impulsive shopping and buying and just randomly doing stuff they had never done before. And going all the way overboard. And when they are sad or in a depressive state, it's just that. So when they're in this lower state, they are really low, extremely low, almost suicidal, if you will. They can't get out of the bed, can't really get them to do anything. The feelings of worthlessness and, just really sad. If you think about somebody that's, I guess a term is down in the dumps or very, just extremely sad, they can get extremely low to the fact that they no longer want to be here on this earth anymore. And that's very sad. Very sad. It's very unfortunate that I have had the opportunity to have a few of these individuals in my life at one point in time or another. And those will be stories for another day. So if you all have dealt with anyone that's like that, I definitely send my prayers, because that is quite a lot, not just on the person, but also on the people who have to take care of them or live with them or who are married to them, who have to be in their circle and in their vicinity for any space and time. It is a lot on a person, right? So my brother has this girlfriend that is bipolar, right? And they have these super wild, chaotic arguments that just are ridiculous. And they're cussing each other out. All type of craziness. All type of stuff going on. Stuff that shouldn't be, right? And all of a sudden, this particular day, as they are arguing, all I know is I hear my brother screaming, right? And I came out of wherever I was. I don't know if it was my room or where I came out of. And I hear him screaming and I hear like running and stuff or whatever. And I realized that the girlfriend is chasing him, right? So she isn't just chasing him. No, she is chasing him with a butcher knife. What? Okay. What in the world is going on? And here I am, little old me, 11 years old. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? I was like, she's chasing my brother with a butcher knife. I was like, she's going to stab my brother. Like, oh my God, right? And she you can just tell she was just, unfortunately, completely taken over in that moment. She definitely, for sure, looked like she was being taken over by some type of negative entity, some type of demon, some type of spirit was definitely taking over her in that moment. Normally, without the bipolarness, right, that she was diagnosed with, she was a very sweet, believe it or not, young lady. She was very sweet, and she had this really sweet baby-like voice, and you just wouldn't even think, like, if you would have heard her on the phone, you would have thought that she was like a child, like a really small child when she talked. So this was like totally, totally opposite of who she normally is on a regular, other than her being toxic. So she's chasing my brother. And I realized that she's chasing my brother through the house with this knife. And I'm like, oh my God, this girl is going to kill my brother. Like, that's all that I'm thinking. That's really all that I'm thinking in my head. I was like, I can't let this happen. What did I think I was going to do? I don't know. I did not think in that moment like that. I just really thought that I can't let her kill my brother, right? So I am running behind them. And I realized that my brother runs into the living room. And we also had what was called a day room. And a day room is kind of like an extension to the living room, where usually people put another bed in there, where they call it like a day bed, a sunroom sometimes. Okay, so just kind of an extra extended room into the living room. Well, the reason why this is important is because once he ran in there, there was no place to go after he ran in there. And then there was the day bed. There was the bed in there. It's kind of like a bed couch type of deal. But that's in there. So I see him and I see them run in there, and he's cornered. He falls. I see him run in there, and he's like backwards because, well, he's facing her, backing up, right? But he backs up into the bed, and there's literally nowhere else to go. And I'm seeing this look on his face of like, terror, because this girl is like all the way gone, like just all the way gone, holding this knife. And I decided that I was going to jump in front of this girl with this knife. I was going to jump in front. And I did. I jumped in front, and I was like, you can't stab my brother. What are you doing? No, right? Like I didn't stop. I jumped in front of her, and it was like, literally, it was like she snapped to and came back to herself, right? And she's looking crazy. My brother is looking like he's breathing hard, like, thank God, right? And even though our relationship is what it was back then, I still couldn't let you kill my brother. I could not let you. I don't know if she was going for kill, but she was definitely going for stab, right? And I wasn't gonna let her do that, because I don't know if she even had a thought of where this knife was going to land or what. And I also don't know what gave me the courage to jump in front of her with this knife other than my faith in God. Okay, that is what it is. I've been having faith, in the Father for a long time. I call God the Father. I've been having faith in God for a very long time, and clearly I proved my level of faith by jumping in front of this girl with this knife so close to my brother. I didn't have no other plan. That's obvious. I didn't have no other plan. I mean, now that I think back, probably could have jumped on her back. Probably could have threw something at the back of her head or back, to keep it, so that she dropped it. All of those things make sense right now. Other than jumping in front of the knife. But here we are today, right? So, jumped in front of the knife, saved my brother who could not stand me. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if he remembers this story. I know I do. I definitely know I do. But I'm just saying, he was in so much toxic stuff. And truth be told, kind of still is, that he may or may not even remember this story, like, at all. So, but I definitely do. This girl was getting ready to kill my brother. She was gonna stab him, at least. She was gonna stab him. So I am grateful and thankful that I lived to see another day. That's for sure. And he lived to see many more days as well, too. Even though he did not like me and couldn't stand me and treated me horribly. He treated me horribly growing up. But I loved him enough to jump in front of a knife. See that? Only a person that has a heart for God will probably do something like that, Mothers do that, and fathers do that when they care about their children and stuff. But I wasn't a mother or a father. I was just a little sister, okay? With an older brother that couldn't stand her. But look at what I did. So that's how that one ends. And I thought that I would kind of throw this in since it was dealing with their relationship. They had a lot going on for many years. They had a lot going on for many years. And my brother did a whole lot of things in his past. And one of those things was drug use. And it was during that time of that relationship as well. And with that, that particular girlfriend also started doing the same thing. And the reason why I bring this up is because after years of them going back and forth and having this type of toxicity, he decided that he was going to go to a rehab and get clean and, from this drug use and things. And I think he probably had been in several before he finally beat it and got out of that lifestyle. Thank God, right? Well, he always felt bad because, unfortunately, this, he left the relationship and she was hooked. Okay. So when they got together, she wasn't. But, when he left from the relationship, she was hooked. And unfortunately, she went on to stay hooked throughout her life. And because of that, she made a lot of unfortunate, terrible choices, and prostitution was in the mix of that, and did that for many, many years. Just a lot of bad choices, many years. And unfortunately, and my brother, he definitely would express that he felt bad. There was some type of shame, not just shame, but guilt and regret that would come over him that he got clean and she didn't, unfortunately. And unfortunately, later on in her life, it was the drugs that took her out. Very unfortunate. Many years later, she was still doing drugs and things, and she ended up passing away from an overdose. Yes, ended up passing away from an overdose. So that was very sad. Very sad. Absolutely. So I just wanted to add that piece in there because this was a very toxic connection. And I want to end this by talking about, be careful who you bring into your life and who you connect yourself to. It is most definitely called soul ties. And if you haven't heard of soul ties, these are people that you are connected to emotionally, spiritually, physically, sexually, when you get into relationships with them. And each one of you all take a piece of the other person, right? And if you are getting into relationships with people, and if you know that much that if or when this relationship ends, you're going to take a piece of this person, you should think first, is this a person that I would want to take a piece of, a piece from if or when I leave? Do I want this person, to still be a part of me in some way? Because that's what soul ties do, right? That's what soul ties are. So be very mindful about who you are entering these relationships with, friendships as well, any type of situationships, be mindful because it can turn out, it can turn out on the negative end of things for sure. So the unique blessing in this story time, at least in the first one, was the fact that my brother had me in that moment to jump in front of that knife and to save him and to protect him. And even though he had treated me so poorly, God still used me later on in his life to be that type of a blessing. So I am going to end story time here for today. And if you all stayed with me this long, thank you. Thank you. And join me next time as we are breaking those barriers and healing those shattered dreams, one story at a time. Bye.